So, actual justice warrior Sean Fitzgerald, a YouTube creator that I am a fan of, but don't always agree with politically. He made a video that about a topic that pretty much I feel very passionate about. Let's put it that way. It concerns infrastructure. Now, I've talked about transportation and infrastructure quite a lot on this channel. I talked about the fact that transportation was, in fact, one of the biggest failures in this state with regards to the worst governor in the history of Massachusetts, Deval Patrick, failed on transportation and failed in so many other areas. But that I will readdress that again. But this concerns California and how you would think that California, the highest tax state in the nation, would literally have all the money in the world to have the best infrastructure in the world, right? But their roads, on average, are so bad that there's now a couple that is tired of fucking up their car and wasting thousands of dollars every year when they fuck their cars up. So what are they doing? So what are they doing? They're now going and fixing the potholes themselves. Well, I have a lot to say about this topic because this is a topic I feel very passionately about. So keep watching and enjoy the program. So Sean talks about this a little bit, but I have a lot of different things that I want to say in this video with regards to this, and it contains a lot of different things and my political views and how I have a completely different opinion on this, but I want to tie it into this. So, how's everybody doing? What's up, everybody? It's Zach the Celtics Guy here, Marxist-Leninist here, who is here to talk about um, all the all the issues going on here, talking about what's wrong with America, what's wrong with the world, and what we can do for a multipolar world and make the world more equitable and a better place. But don't you think that that's a little pathetic? Don't you think that this whole thing right here, that this thing right here is just absolutely ridiculous? How California, with all the fucking taxes that they have, with just actually the amount of taxes that this whole country has, that the fucking bloated bureaucracy in the federal government, you would think that with all the money that they would have all the money in the world to make our infrastructure well developed like the rest of the world. But no, this is what it's degraded into because of wasteful spending, greed, and corporate corruption over and over and fucking over again.
Many arguments coming to broken suspensions, flat tires, broken axles, maintenance around the vehicle. So practically everything that we were earning, it was becoming, money to fix the car.
Yeah, going straight into those new tires.
Exactly.
So I just want to say right off the bat, I love the energy of this couple right here. These are people who have to drive across the city for work, something that the left-wing Democrats are making infinitely more difficult by the day. They're doing so here in New York City. They're doing so in the state of California. They already have the highest gas tax. By the way, gas tax is supposed to go to the road. So you'd think the highest gas tax would lead to something like this. Also, California mandates a special blend that raises the price of gas higher than any state in the union.
We recently had gotten a new vehicle, and for that vehicle, we already went through 3 sets of tires. So, it's not economical. And he decided to take a initiative and started filling in those holes.
Yet despite the fact that this is supposed to go to fixing the roads, despite the fact that they have supposedly a reporting system for potholes, you have people, working class people, who have to drive day to day, getting their cars damaged, losing so much money that they've gotten to the point where they're just going to go around and start filling these potholes because the state of California refuses to do so. And you can see the husband right there in the background doing it himself, and it's presented as a very cheery story, like our Rose Ramos, the local news lady. She's very happy to be talking to this lady, but honestly, this is an absolute failure. When you have so much red tape and ridiculousness in your government, in your state and in your city government, that you can't even fill the potholes, the last refuge for the leftist progressive when arguing in favor of government, it's embarrassing in every possible way. And
well, all right. So now I'm going to talk about my perspective about this whole entire thing. Because here in Massachusetts, we're the exact same thing. where they were talking about raising the gas tax and having it go up with inflation, where God forbid that didn't happen. Thank God that was repealed, and it was repealed in 2014 before it even went into effect. I voted in that election, 2014, when I was 18 years old. My parents did as well. I voted to repeal the gas tax increase to go up with inflation because that would have made our gas prices, here in Massachusetts look like fucking Californians again. And it would have just been an absolute joke. So here's what I think about that whole entire thing. I think everything Sean said was true. But here's my whole thing about this. Well, what would I do with regards to this? I mean, I'm a leftist. I'm a leftist. I'm obviously a pretty fucking far left. I'm anti-democrat, anti all these fucking anti-democrat politicians. I'm anti-liberal, anti-conservative. I'm an anti-liberal, anti-conservative Marxist. And what I believe in is creating an equitable society with decent infrastructure without raising taxes and using the money that we have. Anyone who says that we don't have enough money for gas tax revenue is lying to you. They are fucking lying to you. They are lying to your face, and they're looking at you like you're fucking stupid, and they think that you're fucking stupid, and that you can vote for them over and over and over again, and how, oh, if you vote for us, we're going to raise that revenue. We're going to do that, except what the fuck did they do with the revenue? Where is the fucking revenue going? They always use this excuse. We never raised the gas tax since 1993, and it's flat. We need to raise the gas tax again. We need to raise it so it goes up with inflation. No, that's the completely wrong way to go about it. That is the completely, totally wrong fucking way to go about it. Okay? And I know like there's a stereotype about leftists, Marxists, and everything, people like me, about raising fucking taxes. I don't believe in raising taxes any further. I believe in using the money that we already have. So I'm not running for anything, but I'm just saying I'm not running for anything. And this is not a political ad. I'm not doing this. I'm just saying if anyone voted for me, I would use all the money that we already have. Taxes, would not be doing that at all under any circumstances. I'd only be doing that using the money that we have, and that's all I would do. This notion that we don't have enough money in the gas tax is a fucking lie. It's a joke. Okay? It is an absolute fucking joke, and it's something that these fucking stupid Democrat politicians, like these ones in California, these ones in New York, even some here in Massachusetts to some extent. I mean, you got ones in New Jersey, you got Allen. It's like, it's so ironic that all the states with the highest taxes are having some of the shittiest fucking roads. Isn't that ironic? That is completely ironic, isn't it? Isn't it completely ironic? Well, then you would think, where's all the money going? Where is all the money in the road construction? Where's all the money to fix the roads in the interstate? Where is it all? So ask me that, okay? And some people wonder, well, how are the roads in Massachusetts, Zach? I mean, in some areas they're great, some areas they're terrible. I mean, there's some roads I avoid altogether, honestly. But even in states with good roads have shitty fucking roads. There's no state in this country that has halfway decent infrastructure. None of them. Some have it worse than others. I mean, although California and New York have it way worse than most of the rest of the country. But the reality of the situation is because there's waste and corruption. That's the number one issue. It's the fact that we are letting big oil price gouge people at the gas pumps so that way they can get their own revenue. So that way it goes into their pockets rather than the roadway fund. The gas tax is intended to go towards fixing roads and bridges and filling the potholes. I mean, that's the money that pays our construction workers daily. That's the money that they use so that they can fill their own pockets. They're the ones that are public servants. They're the ones that are helping society. Like, they're the ones that are doing that. That's their job. And that money is not going towards our infrastructure. And it's not because of a lack of revenue. Get the fuck out of here. There's nothing to do with it. So fucking spare me with this whole, oh, it's because of a lack of revenue. No, horseshit. It has nothing to do with that. If you think that, you're a fucking idiot, and there's nothing I can do to fucking save you from your fucking brain decay, because there's obviously fucking nothing I can do. It has nothing to do with the lack of funding. That there is not a lack of funding. There's just a lack of investment. There's not a lack of funds. There's a lack of investment. That's the problem. That's the problem with everything. It's not that we don't have a lack, like I've always said, it's not a lack of funds. It's a lack of investment. It's a lack of investing in the people. It's a lack of investing in the infrastructure. It's what it has to do with. I'll give you a perfect example. I mean, you know me. On this channel, I have completely fucking ripped to shreds the worst governor in the history of fucking Massachusetts. This man made me embarrassed for my state 100%. Thankfully, we had better leadership that came after him. I mean, the one we have now is kind of mixed, but that's besides point. That's a whole different topic for another day in the future. But anyway, Deval Patrick was the guy that did horrible things to Massachusetts. And the reason I go back to this is because we had the same exact thing. So it speaks volumes to me. It speaks volumes to me when I see, oh my God, a high tax state was under these fucking Democrat politicians, and they were not using the gas tax money for what it was intended for. And this fucking scoundrel piece of shit, Deval Patrick, who raised taxes on Massachusetts residents 25 times in a row, increased spending by over $8 billion. It crushed our economy and cost us 24,000 jobs in just a single year alone, caused our unemployment rate to increase by like 5%. The fact that we had the worst economic growth in Massachusetts, and then our economy ranked the worst in all of New England. The biggest mass exodus of taxpayers fleeing our state of any state in the New England region, one of the worst in the country. Under Deval Patrick's reign, 50,000 people left, taking with them billions of dollars. So, you know, and then you see more than 500,000 people have left California. In just between COVID and this year alone, more than about 200 and something thousand people have left New York State. And because, you know why? One of the reasons is because they've gotten price gouged. They've gotten price gouged out the fucking ass. And this is why I get concerned sometimes with Democrats here on Beacon Hill in Massachusetts, because I think, okay, you need to do something a little bit better, because you've got to not do the things that other Democrats are doing, because if you do that, you're going to make other people leave our fucking state too. Like, come on now. Like, I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Like, that's besides the point. They're whatever. But the whole thing about California. So, can you imagine that it's so bad that they're now telling the people that the people are just like, okay, we are sick of driving on these shitty roads. We are sick of driving on these shitty roads. I mean, we barely have any money. I mean, we're working class people working in the fucking Joe Biden fucking economy, where it's the worst inflation in history, worst gas prices in fucking history. They've gone up and down. Like, oh yeah, like they went down during the winter, but they're going back up again as the weather's getting better. I mean, they're still way higher than they were before Biden took office. So we got that. We got record housing prices, record rent prices, record everything, record high everything. Oh, we got record job growth. Well, the only reason there's more jobs is because people have to work 2 and 3 fucking jobs just to get by in Joe Biden's fucking economy. That's the only reason. So this whole thing about the fucking gas tax is just complete. It's just complete fucking lunacy. It doesn't make any sense. They are insulting your intelligence. They're insulting your fucking intelligence. And I mean, you're insulting your own intelligence if you fucking vote for these people anymore. It's just a fact. If you're in California and you're voting Democrat, you're fucking yourself over. Okay, if you're voting for whoever, you're fucking yourself over. Because the reality of the situation is, they are not using the gas tax for what it's intended for. Every time someone fills up their car, that money is supposed to go into the roadway fund. That's what it's supposed to go toward. The money that, what is it, like 24 cents a gallon or something like that? All that money, all the people that drive all the time. I'll give you a perfect example. Western Massachusetts. I mean, I live in Eastern Massachusetts. I live on the East Coast. I live in the Essex area. Western Massachusetts is home to a significant number of people who drive to Worcester and Boston for work. And then they were always talking about what they would do about the gas tax and whatnot, or what they were, like widening the Mass Pike. And, like there were all these projects talking about like widening the Mass Pike and widening I-190 and all that. But here's the reality of the situation here with the gas tax. The gas tax here in Massachusetts was mishandled. in the same way that it's being mishandled right now. It was getting to the point where people were feeling like they had to fill in their own fucking potholes. California has that issue right here, right now. And I feel like that right now, we're like reliving this all over again. Like what Deval Patrick was doing with our fucking gas tax and wasting billions of dollars and raising taxes over 20 times in a row, crushing our economy and everything, and how we have like little to no economic growth, and where that money is going is just, it's going into just a fucking vortex where it just disappeared. So what about all of that? It makes you wonder. But here's the thing. With this whole thing, and this is common not just in Massachusetts, although it happened here worse than most of the rest of the country, and now in California it's happening worse than anywhere. California has gas prices at like $6-7 a fucking gallon. I mean, here we've got it like $3 and something a gallon. But it's a complete and utter joke. Those gas prices harm the middle class. Higher taxes and higher spending and all this, rather than investing in people, rather than using the money that we have, actually hurts the middle class at the lower end of the scale. They are the ones that are bit the worst. Okay, that's the reality. These regressive taxes are the only hurt people at the lower end of the scale that bit the worst. They are bit the worst by these fucking regressive taxes. I mean, that's the reality. That they are hurt. They would be hurt by a higher gas tax. Perfect example with Deval Patrick. $1.8 billion was raised through the gas tax under Deval Patrick when he was talking about with the gas tax, and then towards the end of his term, which thank God he's no longer in office, the worst governor in fucking history. $1.1 billion, over $1 billion was raised through the gas tax, and a big chunk of that money was just siphoned into a vortex where it just disappeared. And then when the money disappeared, then Martha Coakley came out, his fucking corrupt attorney general who wanted to run for governor, and thank God that she got defeated by Charlie Baker, who ended up becoming the best governor in Massachusetts history, in my opinion at least, and in many people. She was talking about how, oh, if we don't do this, if we don't have additional funding, if we don't do this, if we don't have additional funding, well, then we're not going to be able to fix our roads and bridges. We haven't been able to support our roads and bridges. The little bit of money that was left in that money, I mean, Deval Patrick and Martha Coakley did not have any transportation plan of any kind. They waited years and years before even talking about this. Meanwhile, we had over 60% of that money was poured into privatized fancy lanes for higher income people, like carpooling lanes and widening lanes on like I-93 near Boston, rather than going towards our city streets and our town roads and county and metro roads. And then that money that was left only went to there instead of roads. I mean, most of that money was drained out of the fund. And then Massachusetts' roads under this guy actually ended up suffering because they literally blocked roads and bridges from being fixed because all that money was drained out. And then they come back and act like, oh, we need more gas tax money. We don't have enough money to support our roads and bridges. Well, what happened to all that money that you raised in addition to Deval Patrick's other 24 tax increases? Where the hell did the rest of that fucking money go, you idiots? Oh, I don't know. I don't know where it went. They don't know because they're irresponsible. They can't handle our economy. And then in California with the potholes, like we're seeing the exact same thing. These politicians can't handle it. They can't handle it, and they're not paying road workers money to do it. So what do they end up doing? The people have to end up doing it. And then it ends up going back onto the people. Then they're the ones that actually go and are fixing their own local roads because roads have been delayed from being fixed for so long. And it only makes the potholes fucking worse. And do you know how much money, and it's costing us billions of dollars every year in our economy with people fucking up their cars on driving on shitty roads, which should have been fixed years and years ago with all the taxes. I would say that if you didn't waste billions of dollars and drain billions of dollars out of the fund and having it go towards big oil and corporate interest, then you wouldn't need to raise any more gas taxes anymore. That's what makes all the difference in the world. This is what I said in arguments of Deval Patrick, and I've gotten like online and all these fucking places. I've literally seen people defending Martha Coakley and defending, and I'm just like, oh my god. It's like, do people just live in a fucking alternate universe? You live in a different universe than me, and you live in a different universe than the rest of us, apparently. You didn't. You drained over $1 billion out of Massachusetts' gas tax system. And clearly, California is seeing a drain in gas tax money as well, where it's going into big oil and corporate interests rather going to what it's intended for. Martha Coakley said, and she said this during the 2014 debates with Charlie Baker, who, thank God Charlie Baker won, thank God. If he didn't, this state would have never been the same again. But besides the point, she says, we haven't been able to support our roads and bridges, and we're just asking for a simple solution. You literally raised taxes 25 times in a row. You increased over $8.5 billion in spending. You have to use the money for what it's intended for rather than talking about billions of dollars in new spending. That's the problem with Joe Biden. That's the problem with Democrats. That's the problem with Democrat politicians. That's the problem with Gavin Newsom. That's the problem with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That is the problem with people like Martin O'Malley in Maryland, who raise taxes even worse than this motherfucker. I mean, I know that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Thank God for Larry Hogan, but that's besides the point as well. When you see stuff like this and it just becomes a monopoly, when they say it, like, this is the problem. They raise the price of government on the rest of the people, and then the rest of the people end up suffering as a result of this because of a lack of leadership and a lack of funding. Again, this isn't a lack of, it's a lack of money going into the fund, lack of investment, not the money. It's not a lack of money, it's a lack of investing and funding. And Martha Coakley said it. She said it. She literally said it. She said this in defense of raising the gas tax, going up with inflation. If 52% of Massachusetts voters did not go and vote that out, our gas prices would look like California's right now. We would literally be the California of New England if those fucking assholes had their way and Charlie Baker didn't win. I would say, and you know what? I'm going to use a common sense solution, and I have a completely different idea. I'm going to come up with something completely different. Here's what I come up with. You say that we haven't been able to support our roads and bridges. We haven't been able to support the Mass Pike. We haven't been able to support our interstates. I was saying that if you didn't waste nearly $2 billion and sucking all the money out of the fund and having it just go into a vortex where it just disappeared, then you wouldn't need to raise any more taxes again. That's what makes all the difference in the world. If you actually use the gas tax and other taxes for what it was intended for, then you wouldn't need to raise any more taxes again. You see that? That's a simple solution. That's what I come up with. That's my proposal. I would say that if you didn't waste billions of dollars out of the gas tax money, if you didn't have all this wasteful spending going on with fraud and corruption and corporate greed, then you wouldn't need to raise any more taxes again. That's what makes all the difference in the world. So yeah, my view for what Sean said was exactly the same. And by the way, look up Martha Coakley, Charlie Baker interview 2014 if you want to know what I'm talking about. Go to towards the end point of that debate, and also check this video out from Sean because it was actually a great video. So yeah, that's my proposal. As a Marxist-Leninist, you would think that I'd be the one all in favor of raising taxes. You would think that I'd be the one because I'm pretty fucking far to the left. I mean, I'm a Marxist-Leninist. I read Marx, I read Lenin, I read all that type of stuff. But I'm anti-liberal and I'm anti-conservative. But what I believe in is I believe in creating an equitable society where we're not raising taxes and we're using the money for what it's intended for. And if you don't waste the money and you don't have all this wasteful spending going on, then you wouldn't need to raise any more taxes again on people. That's what makes all the difference in the world. How about that? How about we have that type of solution? Imagine we had that mindset. And I know, I'm not saying my mindset is superior. I'm saying if politicians had that mindset and they actually used the money for what it's intended for, then you wouldn't need any more taxes. That's the difference. And that's pretty much all I have to say on that topic. Use the money for what it's intended for, and that's the end of it. Well, that's about it for now. Thank you all for watching. And again, credit to Sean Fitzgerald, actual justice warrior, for making that video. It was a great video. I highly recommend that you guys watch it as well. And definitely watch the Martha Coakley interview. Or not Martha Coakley interview. The Martha Coakley debate with Baker. Because Charlie Baker completely took her to fucking town. Thank God he won. And look, we have a Democrat governor here in Massachusetts, Maura Healey, who she actually ended up presiding over the biggest tax cuts in history. And if she raised the tax by 1 penny, I would be coming out here, and I would literally be coming out here, and I would be campaigning against her, and I'd be having fucking Maura Healey videos day in and day out. But I don't know. My opinion on her is a mixed bag. We'll see how she does. If she royally fucks up, I will be on team fuck Maura Healey. But until now, I'm just going to stay neutral on that topic and focus on what's going on with this and multiple other things. But yeah, as far as that whole thing, ridiculous. Again, use the money for what it's intended for. And if you do that, you wouldn't need to raise taxes again. You wouldn't have a problem. That's what makes all the difference in the world. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you all learned something from it. This is my take on it. This is how I would do things. I have a completely different opinion. I believe in an equitable society without raising taxes, and you do it by investing in people and getting big oil and special interests out of the way. And if you do that, then society would be a hell of a lot better off. But anyway, I have another video coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. I have a stream coming out tomorrow because I have a paid day off tomorrow. I will be putting that in my public feed, so look out for that. I'll let you guys know when I'm able to stream tomorrow. So look out for that and a whole bunch of other shit in the works. Stay tuned.